Owen.
Hey everybody. So we are doing the angel Rekhodiah. Again, one that you probably don't hear of very much. This is used in practices that have to do with working planetary energies. It's not necessarily associated with just one particular planetary energy, but it's an angel that you would invoke for a wide range of things because of what it does. The name means like to inspire or to awaken, or one who inspires with the divine. And if you think of that, like, what does that mean? It's a lot of these phrases are all like, "Oh, that sounds cool," but what is it? like it's an interesting thing. When we look at our lives through the lens of everyday life, it's very survival oriented. We are thinking about the things we got to do and the driving the car and going in the store and you know making our living and getting along with our family and seeing our friends and maybe socializing a bit and on and on and on, taking care of our health. But all of these are drives that have to do with surviving, keeping the body alive, you know, paving a way for the body, the life, mostly the life. Right? And so the idea of being inspired or being awakened is like how we talk about, like vagal tone or intuition. We get stuck in fight flight, or we get a little triggered in a situation, and it's always about like bringing it back to vagal tone. And even if we get wrapped up in like a repetitive thinking or something of that nature, it's, you know, bring it back into vagal tone for the body. But for the mind, it's bringing back to the intuitive mind where you observe rather than focus, right? And if you think about like when we have issues come up or we look back at some old event and it's like, oh, a little traumatic. We have a response in our body, but we have a response in our mind. And when we go through, when we go, okay, I'm going to look at that situation and I'm going to feel it in my body, right? I'm going to feel it in my body and then let's see what happens. And at first, you can feel your body trying to stabilize because of that old event. Like when you go and you start to observe your body, you go, okay, I'm feeling a little tension in my shoulders. I'm feeling a little tension in my back. I'm not really breathing that deep. My torso is a little wound up. Really, what you're doing when you have body tension is your body is trying to stabilize itself. Even though you're not in that old trauma, your body is like, it happened and it's about to happen again, or it might happen again. So the body is trying to predict the amount of pain or the old traumatic event and trying to stabilize itself against this old situation or this old time. Or for me it was like a period of time. I can't say like, oh, there was one event. It just felt like life was really stressful for a couple of decades. And so with that, when you go through and you go, okay, I'm gonna listen to my body, I'm going to be aware and I'm going to feel the body. And then all of a sudden you kind of go from that focus and you go, okay, I have this tension in my shoulders or in my back or in my hamstrings or wherever it is. And then all of a sudden you start to go, oh, I get a little spacey. Body's starting to relax. Is your body is starting to have the realization of, hey, that was like a long time ago. Like that wasn't a thing that's probably going to happen again right now. I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. But then you kind of take a little deeper and your body starts going, ah, I'm starting to relax. Anytime your body's starting to relax, it's not in defense mode. It's not in survival mode. Basically, when you shift from the survival part of the nervous system and you come over to vagal tone, you're beginning to let light into the body, right? You're beginning to process whatever feelings, emotions, past events, your body is processing it rather than going red alert, got to be in safety mode, security mode, protective mode, whatever it is. I don't have to be that way right here, right now. Like I can, I don't have to stabilize my ribs and hold my breath and, do all these things. And so the same thing happens for the mind. A lot of times our thinking is dictated by the state of the body. If the body is in like protective mode or like seeking safety or um, just trying to feel secure, then the messages that it sends through the emotions and then eventually to the mind are going to be safety oriented. And so we might start to have like repetitive thoughts or thoughts about like certain kinds of thinking, right? The one that is kind of the easiest to understand is hypothetical thinking. Like this might happen, that might happen. If I do this, why is this happening? This situation might happen again, or something bad's going to happen. Or if I go left, what if I can't find my way back? Or what if I get a flat tire? Or what if you just start going down this weird rabbit hole of kind of fear thinking. And so really it's not so much that's how your mental body is, it's just that's the state that the body's in, and then it's reflected in the mind. And so, as much as we try to think of like our mind is going to override the body, it usually is more the opposite. The body overrides the mind. And if you start to be aggressive enough with the mind, what tends to happen is you then generate psychosomatic issues. You're trying to have like 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 a power over the body and what it's trying to communicate. That's why when we go through and we do the body listening and we look at the situations and we listen in the body, it's like the mind and the body are getting on the same page. We're going into vagal tone. We're going into a little bit of intuitive mind. It might not be super deep, but let's just put everybody in chill mode. Let's feel safe. Let's feel secure. And let's break out of whatever trauma loop, fear loop, survival loop, whatever that might be. Right now, the difficulty is that the longer that we've been in this survival mode, the longer that we've had strong emotions, that and then attracts energy from the environment. And then the more that we've had repetitive thought, which again attracts energy from the environment, and that energy from the environment is elements or elementals, then that emotion and thought mix with the elements and creates kind of a thought form that it's not necessarily something that we project out, but it affects how the body functions and how we see the world. It's like kind of a filter that we kind of keep creating, right? And so we want to unwind these thought forms. We want to unwind the elements. The elements are always going to be associated with survival. They're not associated with the vagal tone and the intuitive mind. They're associated with intellect and the survival part of your nervous system because they're about the survival. They're about life. They're about surviving in the outside world or surviving in a social situation, surviving at work. And so those thoughts come in and they concretize, but with them there starts to be a little bit of a pattern, right? And so Not only is it that we want to feel safe, but we want to break out of the old conditioning. We want to break out of the repetitiveness of the patterns from, the past. We want to unwind our history, you could say, right? Now, again, I've said this before, but I think it's an important time to say it again, is, you could say like your perceptions are like looking through a piece of glass. This is something that was taught by um, Annie Besant back 125 years ago or so. And what she said was like, okay, you have this piece of glass, right? You see everything through this piece of glass. And then every experience that you have, good, bad, indifferent, kind of puts a little light shade of green on this glass. And you went to high school, green. You had a good experience, with your family, a little bit of green. You had a bad experience, green. You got into a car accident, green. You had a weird thing with a friend, green. You went to school and you found work or you didn't find work, green. All your experiences in college and then all your experiences dating and then you had a partner, green, 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 right? Everything is just putting a little shade of green on this piece of glass. And then, a little bit of time goes by and somebody comes up and holds a red ball in front of you and they go, "What is that?" And you look at it through this green piece of glass and you go, "It's a ball," which is accurate, right? And then the person goes, "But what color is it?" And through that green piece of glass, that red ball looks brown or black, right? So this is the way we see the world, right? We see it a little bit in the present time, but we also see it through the lens of our past experiences, right? Our past experiences change the tint of what it is. So something might be stressful, but if we've had a bunch of stressful events in the past, it becomes more stressful. Something might be upsetting or traumatic, but through the lens of the history, it might become more traumatic, right? It's because you're experiencing now and you're experiencing the past, right? So what we want to do is we want to pull out our special Windex, spray it on that piece of glass and go, let's get rid of some of this green. Like this green is causing an issue. Now, for survival reasons, drawing upon the past can be helpful. It's just that it can be helpful, but we're stuck in repetition. Like we're always just going to have the same experience over and over again. So if this becomes extreme, there is like a mystical name for this. It's called hell. I mean, I'm not joking. It's hell. Hell is the repetitive nature that we never break out of. If you think of the different stories of people suffering in hell, they keep doing the same thing over and over, day in, day out, right? The way to break out of that is through the intuitive mind, through bringing vagal tone into the body and the intuitive mind. And so when we come back to the idea of Rekhodiah, it's sometimes if we have little flashes of something, it can motivate us a little bit more. And sometimes, I can remember times where uh, I would be, in my repetition and going, well, this is just the way life is. And then something would come along and kind of blow my mind in there in the moment. And I'd be, wow, wait, what? It could be different. Like, but sometimes we get so locked into it, it's all we really kind of see. And the idea of Rokadiah is like you get this whisper in your ear, like, hey, life could be different. It might not make all the changes, but it's like, hey, you know what? There's a possibility. You know, I tell that story. It's really, as I've gotten older, it's been quite the embarrassing story. But I know you guys have heard this a bunch. But again, these stories like sometimes help to understand um, like the impact that these situations have. And so for me, I was working, I was doing my normal thing. I had my routine down and everything, and I had saved up a little bit of money and had this friend that was a car broker. And yes, it's that story again. Um, and I went to him and I go, "Hey, I have this much money and I want a car kind of like this." I didn't have enough to buy a new car, but I had enough to buy kind of like a decent used car. And I said, "This is the kind of car that I want. I might have to wait for a little while, but like this is what I want." And he was like, "Okay." And like it didn't take very long, and he reached out to me, and he had a significantly better car than what I was asking for. And he goes, "Hey, I just took this car in on a trade, and I would really love to just unload it because, I had to take it in on a trade, and, there's this whole story." And he goes, "I'm going to give it to you for what I paid for it. I'm going to just give it to you at my cost. It still hits your budget, but it's a much better car than what you wanted." And he goes, "Okay." And I went, "No." And he goes, "Well, do you not like the kind of car?" I go, "Oh, no, I love that kind of car. I would love to have a car like that." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to give it to you. Like it's in your budget. It's what you said. I'm giving it to you for, the amount that you said you could spend." And I was like, "No, no, no, I don't want to do it." And he was like, I'm giving it to you for the price that you said." And I was like, "Yeah, no, no." And he goes, "Why not?" And I go, "Well, it's not the car that I thought I was asking for." And he goes, "Yeah, it's better." And I was like, "No, no, I." And he goes, "Why?" And I sat there for just this moment, and I was going to come up with some explanation of why I didn't want to do that car. And I realized I had no explanation. I had nothing. I was like, "Well, I don't know." Like, it wasn't what I thought I was going to get. He goes, "Yeah, it's better. It's like a lot better. It's like a lot better." Now, basically, I was wanting this and he was trying to give me this. And I was like, "No, like, no, no." Right. And, you know, he talked me into it. And I remember like he drove it over the next day and everything, and he parked in the car and he was explaining how some of the things worked, and he kept going, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, you look like you're going off somewhere, like you're checking out." And I was just like, "This is way nicer car than I expected." And he goes, "Yeah, a lot nicer." And for the same money, like he was still on that thing. And I just, in that moment, my mind was like blown, like that something different could come in that was better than what I expected. And I've had many times where that's happened, but I got to say, that time it was so in my face, like that I couldn't help but look at like, why was I turning this down? And then, he laughed and I sat in my living room and I was just like, how many times have I done that? How many times have I turned down something better because I was in my routine, I was in my repetition, I was doing the things that I thought should be happening and not just being and experiencing and like taking things in and making choices and everything. I wasn't making choices. I was like, I'm like a robot. Like I have these ideas. I need to do this. I need to manifest this. I just need to keep moving forward. And that car, like, it helped to open me up to possibilities in the future. Like I really, after that, I was like, I need to not be shutting these things down because I suspect that I've done that my whole life. Like this is a big, like, eye-opening moment. I would say Rokadiah is a lot like that car. It's a lot like, it might not make these massive changes, but it's like, hey man, there could be something much better than what you think. And so really it's like we all get locked into repetition. We all get locked into repetitive ways of thinking, but it's like every once in a while you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it. And every once in a while there can be like, hey, there's something else out there. Hey, there's something on the horizon. Hey, there's something, you know, I've seen something in the outside world. I think it could be good. You know, whatever routines or patterns that we have in our life, you know, even if they've served us, at some point we outgrow them. If they're causing us suffering, sometimes we just get locked into it and we don't break out of it. We're afraid that what might happen, or it's like this I can manage. Worse, I can't manage. If I break out of this and it's worse, I don't know, right? And so the idea of working with Rokadiah is like kind of opening up to possibilities. Like that idea of um, what's the phrase? One who inspires with the divine, or God awakens. It's not that it's going to bring full enlightenment, but it's still going to be like, hey, this could be a really nice car. Hey, this could be a nice new job. Or hey, you know what? Even if it's just realizing what I'm doing is better than I realize. I'm in this relationship. I'm in my family thing. I'm in this workplace. And all of a sudden, I just have this realization of like, this is a really good job, or this is a really good fill in the blank. Sometimes it's not even about shifting or changing something, but just having an aha moment that life is like, even though things might be stressful or things might be upsetting or something, life is still pretty good, right? So let's work with the angel Rokadiah. So first, we're going to do it with the name, and then we'll do it with the oils. Okay. So, how about we start with your awareness, not just on your feet, but below your feet? Visualize yourself standing on a big, giant lotus. The lotus is below your feet. Ring. Ho. Do. Oh. Rekhodiah. Let go of the lotus and visualize yourself standing in a pillar of light. Rekhodiah. 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 And your awareness is on your forehead. Rekhodiah. Rekhodiah. And just let your attention and awareness float about 12 inches above your head. Rekhodiah. So it feels kind of nice when you say, sometimes when we do some of these angel things, you start doing the name right off the bat and it feels like you're altered in another world and you're like, ugh, I gotta like function the next day. This one is a little bit softer. the thing that I would say is that anytime that you're in a situation where, maybe you feel stuck, maybe you feel it's just been the same thing over and over again, maybe uh, you get to a place where you just don't even think about it, you just are kind of running on autopilot. It would be the time and the place to work this particular angel, not because you're trying to make change or anything, but it's just like you kind of look outside the repetition and going, is there anything else going on? Is there anything else I should be doing? Am I am I denying the car that's much better than what I thought I wanted? And like, am I letting opportunities or experiences go by? It doesn't mean that you jump on every experience, but at the same time, we don't want to just be shutting things down because it's different. Haven't you ever had a boss where you go up and you go, "Hey, I got this new idea." And I think, and he goes, "No." And you didn't even get to say the sentence. You didn't even get to say the idea. And he's like, "No." And basically it's like, "No, that's different. We're doing this. We're doing this over and over again. That's different. We don't want to hear that." And if you're fortunate enough to get it out, they'll still say no. And then maybe in 4 or 5 days, they go, "Hey, I got this really great idea." And it's your idea, right? But at first they still push back. Now, it doesn't mean that you take every situation and you just go, "Oh, let's do this. It's new, it's different." But at the same time, it's like, you explore it a little bit. Like, okay, what could this look like? Do I need to do this? Should I do this? Then no, yes, no, yes. Right. So we're going to do this with oils. Okay. So pull out your oil. Now, your awareness is on that lotus below your feet. Inhale the oil with your awareness on that lotus below your feet. Your awareness is on your feet. You don't hear nothing.
That's weird.
That's the same thing that happened with Samantha. She went outside. She's like, it's not outside. Yeah. The thing that's confusing, it sounds like that dog's like barking with it or at it, or but maybe the dog is in our radon machine too. We now move your awareness to the low back, the back side of the navel. Your awareness is on the back side of the navel. You're on the back side of the navel. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on your spine, your whole spine. You're being aware of your spine. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now your awareness is on the back heart, the upper back, that area between your shoulder blades. Now move your awareness to the back throat, that area that's the middle of the back of your neck. Now, move your awareness to the tip of your nose. Your awareness is on the tip of your nose. Your awareness to your brain. Your awareness is on your brain. Then the top of your head. Your awareness is on top of your head. Your awareness is on top of your head. Move your awareness to about 12 inches above your head. Now, visualize yourself in a pillar of light. Okay, now you're going to let things go. So you let things go for a moment and you let it incubate. Right? So then you have like some choices here. We're going to cycle through it again, but the choices are this. So sometimes you have like thoughts and feelings that begin to arise in the mind. And so what you do is you just observe the things that are arising, right? If there's a particular situation that you're wanting to address or like check in on, you sit and observe the situation. Because what's happening now is, yes, the intuitive mind has gotten stimulated somewhat, right? But more importantly, your low back area, the backside of your navel, has gotten a bit, let's just say, it's got its game clothes on. It's like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to do this. And so what's starting to happen is you're starting to transmute things in the nervous system and you're starting to transmute elements because of this activation. So then you can go, okay, where can I direct it? Do I just sit and just wait to be a little bit inspired? Or do I actively go and look at situations and prompt a potential inspiration? Either way works. I do them both. Like there's some times where I'm like, yeah, I got nothing to work on. And then a bunch of stuff comes up and I was like, ugh, I got a bunch of things I gotta, I would like to move forward on. But, sometimes when we're in the repetition or we're a little bit stuck. We really don't see it for what it is. It's me in that car, you know. No, I don't want anything better. Why would I want something better? And then when asked, like, well, why do you not want something better? And I was like, I don't know. I had no explanation, right? So it's a time where you can go and like, okay, I'll look at my work. I'll look at my activities. I might look at, a friendship or a relationship or, whatever it is. You might just look at the things that I do, the things that I do at the end of the day, the things I do at the beginning of the day, you know, whatever it is. Just take a moment and observe it. Just observe the different things, the different areas in your life. Okay. And then just let it go. You don't have to figure it out. You can say you're sending an email and you'll wait for a response. So again, you're inhaling the oil. Your awareness is below your feet. You're visualizing a lotus below your feet. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on that lotus below your feet. Your awareness is on your feet, the soles of your feet. your low back, the backside of your navel. Your awareness is on your low back, your backside of your navel. And then your spine. Your awareness is on the spine, the whole spine. Your awareness is on your spine. You're doing nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Awareness is on the back heart, that area between the shoulder blades. your back throat, the middle of the back of your neck. The tip of your nose. Your brain. Your awareness is on your brain. The top of your head. 12 inches above your head. You're 12 inches above your head. Just letting go. Let go of everything. Just let go. Let it incubate for a moment. They're observing the things that are arise, or you start reflecting on areas in your life. It's very different. Okay, we're going to do more, but before we do more, let's maybe do shares and questions. You can unmute yourself or type in or not, judging on how Samantha looks right now. It looks like it's nappy nap time.
I mean, the oil was one thing, but the pattern like rotted a whole other place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very strong pattern. It's based on like the energetics of the caduceus. And the caduceus is the staff of Hermes, and it is said that with his staff he could bring anybody out of hell, the state of hell.
And go ahead, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Hi there. I actually, before this session, I was at my therapist and I was discussing, I wanted to ask my brother to help me with something.
Mhm.
And so that's the issue that I've been focusing on, almost like materialization or
Sure.
manifesting. Is this appropriate?
We could talk about like some of the nuances. I do kind of like this for that because, if you think about like how you and your brother have interacted through the years, there's a pattern to it. And, you want to ask him for something, but also you want to have like the potential of a different outcome or a different way of interacting or maybe a little bit more insight into how to communicate to him where it's not the way that it used to be. It can be something new in the updated version of who you are and who he is and
Exactly.
yeah. So I like that for this.
No more
It's
fighting.
not
No,
like you're
no
gonna
more,
go.
nothing personal.
What's that?
I'm not taking it personal. I'm not, his idiosyncrasies and mine, they don't matter anymore. We
Right,
want the same goal.
right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll stop talking.
No, like just like you said, like at some point, it's like that joke that I kind of make that's really not a joke, but I like to make it look like it's a joke where I go, I love to be able to say I'm wise of I've gotten older, but it's more that I'm tired. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so tired of doing this same thing over and over again. I don't have the juice in my legs to kind of keep doing it. And, at some point, that can happen in situations where you go, okay, something's going to be different because I'm exhausted. The idea of using Rekhodiah is I don't have to be exhausted to make the shift or make the change or have the different perspective. I can do it and kind of almost like be a little proactive. Like I don't have to run it into the ground and be exhausted before I go, let's do this different. I'm going to say things in a way that maybe he gets it or something where with Rokadai, it's like I'm gonna try to do it beforehand, or who knows? Like that's the thing that I would say is intellectually, you're not gonna come up and go, oh, this is the thing that I'm gonna say, and this is what's gonna make it different. It's more gonna be like, okay, I'm open to something being different, and then as you're interacting with them, right? There might be like this little window that opens up and you say something kind of like I'll give you an example like um I know this is going to be shocking, but me and my ex, we used to fight a little bit. Right, so you have these little dynamics where we'd been together for a while and we just rubbed each other the wrong way. And so one day I had like done some dishes and everything, and I loaded the dishwasher, and I don't know, I got distracted and I walked away, and she came up and, she was ready to fight. She was like, "Why didn't you turn the dishwasher on?" And, normally we would have gone back and forth like in a fight. And I was tired of the dynamic. And so I said, well, I was sitting there doing the dishes and I thought about like, how can I do something and be a really huge jerk? So I walked away from the dishwasher and I didn't run it. I was just trying to be a jerk. And she just stood there and she looked at me and then she started laughing and she goes, "You got distracted?" I go, "Yeah, I got distracted." I didn't do it on purpose, but I got distracted. And it's not like I went into that scenario going, I'm going to use my joke, but in the moment I was like, we've done this dance so many times. I'm just going to do something different. I'm just going to bring a little bit of humor to it. And, I know what she's going to accuse me of, so I'm just going to say it. And in that, we kind of, not everywhere, but in that little area, that little arena, we broke out of the pattern a little bit. She still ended up as
Congratulations.
my ex, but like, you know what I mean? But still, it was what it was.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Actually, it's remarkable. I was just thinking before my therapy session, I said, I'm tired of fighting with my brother.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
said, I'm tired of fighting with my brother.
Yeah.
He's actually skilled at what I'm not skilled at.
Right.
He's actually skilled at something to tell you the truth, I have no interest in.
Right.
If I were a mature adult, I would be interested in this and I would take care of myself.
Right.
But I have no interest in this
Right.
field, which is actually finances. I'd
Right.
rather go healing myself and unwind my nervous system. I
Right.
enjoy that. My brother has no clue about unwinding nervous system,
Right.
but he's really good with finances.
Right.
So can I work out some way
Right.
that I'm honest and he doesn't stab me in the flank or fillet me
Right.
because he just wants me to be taken care of.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's amazing that you say certain words that um, positively triggered in terms of I'm
Sure.
tired,
Sure. Sure.
and we both want the same thing. So yeah,
Right.
thank you,
Right.
thank you.
Good. Good.
I wasn't sure that this was not um, uh, overlapping with materialization of function
No,
or
it could still work.
materialization birth.
No, no,
Okay.
yeah, you could still do the materialization because with doing the materialization breath, you're anchoring light into the situation. So again, helps with like movement and everything. So it could kind of go hand in hand. Sure.
Also, finally, last thing, and you can discard it.
Hmm.
I chose to stop calling the woman my ex because I don't like to be called the ex. So I
Right.
started referring to her as the mother of our children.
Right.
And for me, it feels better. I don't know
Right.
about for you. So
I
you're the
know I'm going to try
master.
to hold on to some of my passive aggressive side. I'm joking, but like, yeah.
Well, you're the master. I'll just be
I don't know
quiet.
about that, but yeah.
And a couple people are asking, what is in this blend?
It is neroli, Cape chamomile, and ylang ylang. Very, very simple blend. Yeah. Like Cape chamomile is always delicious. And ylang ylang, everybody loves ylang ylang. But there's something about neroli that can, if you inhale it enough, it can make you real, like kind of heady or like kind of, and neroli and ylang ylang together are also very calming and soothing to the physical heart. And when we think of like some of our homeostatic emotion or lower emotion that gets generated, a lot gets generated in the heart, the physical heart. And so it's very soothing to that. It's very, very soothing to that. So okay. All right. So how about we do a little bit more? You can think about a situation if you'd like. I usually do it after the fact, but if you want to reflect on a situation, like Dennis is working on some situation with his brother, and do you guys have anything you want to say? Or
One thing I noticed is that it, like right away, it brought up a pattern that I've had that I didn't. I thought about it a little bit before,
Mhm.
but it's like it brought it up and it kind of blew it open.
Oh, nice.
Like where I can make lists and they say, okay, when I go these people or I go do this,
Mhm.
these are the things I want to do, but then I get there and I'm like, I'll get to that later,
Right.
and I keep putting it off. And then eventually I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
Can they hear that? Or
Sure.
so he was saying that like he was like made aware of like pattern. And at first he was like kind of aware of it, but it kind of really opened up the awareness of the pattern and like how he like interacts with that pattern and it's almost like patterns have like this like little kind of like nature to them, or like a personality, and so you almost can see the pattern is like, oh, it has this certain tendency, or it has this certain kind of personality, and you know, yeah. Okay. All right. So again, you're going to put your awareness on the lotus that's down below your feet. And we're going to do it with oils and with toning. So your awareness is below your feet. Your awareness is on the lotus below your feet. You're inhaling, and you're also hearing my words. Rekhodiah. 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 Om. 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 Rekhodiah. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. You're letting go of the lotus. You're just on the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on your low back, the backside of the navel. Your awareness is on your spine. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on your spine. Your awareness is on your spine. Your awareness is on your spine. Move your awareness to the back heart. And then the back throat, the middle of the back of your neck. Your awareness is on the tip of your nose. Your awareness is on the brain. Your awareness is on the brain. The top of your head. Your awareness is on the top of your head. 12 inches above your head. Now, let that go. Visualize yourself in a pillar of light. As you visualize yourself in a pillar of light, nice, long, slow, deep breath. You're inhaling the oil with your awareness on the pillar of light. And then just let everything go. You can observe the things coming up. You can just be in the space that you're in, or You can look at a situation. And whichever process you're doing, just maintain that as you hear my voice. You're just being still. Om Bhur Swa Tat Savitur Bharaniam Bargo Devasha Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swa Tat Savitur Bharaniam Bargo Devasha Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swa Tat Savitur Bharaniam Bargo Devasha Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swa Tat Savitur Bharaniam Bargo Devasha Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swa Tat Savitur Bharaniam Bargo Devasha Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Om Bhur Swa Tat Savitur Bharaniam Bargo Devasha Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Rekhodiah. 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 Think of that area in your life. Not so much that you want to change, but you just want some insight or inspiration. Om Bhurvuvah Swa Tatsavitur Bharanyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om. Om Bhurvuvah Swa Tatsavitur Bharanyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om. Okay, how about we open it up again, shares or questions? And then if not, we'll still finish it off with a little more practice.
Go ahead, Danelle.
Hey, Danelle.
Hey, Greg. Still a little spacey here, but the I had a question about the pillar of light. I saw a lot of light and green light, but not exactly a pillar. Any
That's okay. No, that's
it's
okay.
it is
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like because like when you do a visualization, even like the idea of like the lotus below the feet,
Mhm.
it's more of like food for your intuitive mind than it is about like a literal thing you're trying to see or manifest. You know, you're seeing yourself in a pillar of light. You know, for most of us eventually, but like even when we're visualizing it, you're kind of like saying like, hey, this is where I should be moving towards. This is the thing that's going to happen. And really, it's not even the ultimate goal. Like here, we're visualizing white. There might be other colors. It might be more than just a pillar. The lotus below your feet and the pillar might become this one thing. Like, you know, it opens up like potentials. And if you think about like you're doing the opposite of the repetition or you're doing the opposite of survival. Like, you know, survival mode, what's a lotus below your feet doing for your survival? Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're hitting this different part of your brain. And the intuitive mind doesn't really deal with facts very well. In fact, that kind of pulls you out of the intuitive mind. But
Yeah.
imagery, like imagery is what opens it up. And it's just like when you hear a pretty song and you're like, oh God, that's so moving, that's so touching. It's the same idea with imagery and the same idea with pictures. Pictures are like a way to bypass the critical thinking, which we need sometimes, but not all the time. And
Mhm.
it's like a way to go, okay, I'm stepping out of this, I'm changing my clothes, and I'm gonna go over here in my intuitive clothing, and I'm gonna do this for a while. It doesn't mean forever. It just means for a little bit. And, eventually what happens is you kind of keep going back and forth. And then at some point they kind of fuse and they become both at the same time. And so, the idea of the visuals is to help keep like pushing yourself into that door of the intuitive aspects.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That helps a lot.
There's times where like, say we're talking about the pillar of light, like I do a pillar of light and then I see a buffalo or something like,
Yeah.
ah, well, I mean my spine's a buffalo or it just kind of opens your mind up so that the imagery kind of starts coming in. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I really like when we do the 12 inches above the head
Yeah,
because I
that's what
feel
Samantha
like,
was saying.
yeah.
Like she loves that up above the head thing. Yeah.
And
Yeah, it feels good.
it just kind of gets you out of your brain
Yeah.
and body
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, it's very, very soothing. And then is there a meaning to the mantra that you were doing? I just felt
It's the
really
God
happy.
tree. It was the God tree mantra. So you're
Okay.
invoking the blessings of the solar logos, the aspect of God associated with the sun. And the
Oh,
reason that I use it in situations like this sometimes, for one, it's very healing.
yeah.
And two, it helps to stimulate the intuitive mind. Like if you chant that or listen to it over and over again, it will keep stimulating the intuitive mind. And if you think about like here, we're looking at situations where you're like, okay, I would like a little inspiration or a little bit of insight, you know, like a lot of times when you go to a thing where you're already been in this like repetitive pattern or maybe it's a little bit of a struggle or you're a little triggered by it, it's like it's sometimes hard to break out of the gravity of that situation. And so you kind of look at it, you put yourself there, and then just like how we do body awareness where you go, okay, I'm focused on the tension of my body, I'm starting to relax. It's kind of like a mental way of doing that. Okay, I'm looking at this particular problem. I'm looking at this difficulty. I'm looking at this thing where I don't know what to do, or I'm still having the difficulty from the past experience. And it starts to elevate the mind into more of the intuitive faculties. And then all of a sudden, for one, you're usually not as like kind of stuck in the repetition. And even if you go back to that repetition, it's like meditation. You had an expansion and then you come back and you go, okay, what happened while I was gone? Okay. Okay, we're back to this pattern. And the pattern seems a little lighter, a little more flexible. It becomes easier to go, I'm going to let go of this little piece and this little piece. It's the same idea. It's just on, not even a different level, just in a different facet. It's in a different facet of our perception and our experiences.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
I
so
really liked I like all the angels. It's so funny.
yeah,
It's hard to just choose one in particular,
I
but
know.
they all have the different
They all have
energy.
such a different energy to them. Even the ones where it's like uh the spellings are really close. Like it's just like a letter off or something. And you go, oh,
Yeah.
it's just a different spelling for the same angel. And then you invoke the name and you're like, no, it's not. It is a different energy. Like it is, it is, maybe not night and day difference, but
Mhm.
there's a difference to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this angel's name is very interesting too. Is
Yeah.
it like biblical? Do you know, like the
Let me look in um so yeah, out of Hebrew. I don't know that it's like in the Bible, but
okay. Mhm.
it's definitely in some of the writings of King Solomon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Great.
so is the idea of like Rekh is referring to the concept of to inspire or to awaken. And then the last part is associated with the divine or with God. And so
Yeah,
the thing
great.
that I find interesting in it, because like here we're sitting, we're doing this practice, right? And we're going up and we're moving our way up. And then we go through and we have the experience 12 inches above our head. And then, like what I was saying, is like when you invoke the name or you do the practice or the practice of the name together or the oils, part of what happens is like your centers associated with like perceiving are increased, but the Ming Men, which is the low backside of the navel, it becomes very activated. And so it helps to establish order, it helps to transmute things, and it raises the vibration of the body. It's whatever we kind of have arising or where we direct it. It's kind of transmuting and establishing some kind of order there. And, kind of interesting. But if you look at the name, how it's spelled, uh, Rek, and then Hod, and then Iah, Hod is the Kabbalistic name for the Ming Men. And
Oh,
so
okay.
it's
Okay.
kind of like built into the name there, and even though you're not toning Hod, it's still like, there's like, don't forget the Ming Men. Like, there's a
Hmm.
little bit of that, like little prompting of, even if it's just in the unconscious. And so, you know, that's the way these things work when they do these things.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for putting all these practices
Oh
together
yeah.
too. Yeah, they've been great. Thank
I
you.
know I love these things. I'm so glad that we got to experience them.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Thank you.
When I was doing the book, I was like, God, how do I even put that in a book? And Samantha came up with the idea, let's just do a weekly practice. So, if you think about like tonight, it would be hard to, even if it was written out, like to sit and go through and read it and do the math to like put it all together and do the practice. It's too much, but have the experience where you go through and you do like a kind of guided practice and everything, because the experience and the energy is going to tell you way more than anything I wrote in the book. It's like the
Yeah.
things in the book, it's like, yeah, it kind of gets you to the place and gives you an idea, but it's really the experience and the energy that says what needs to be said. you know
I agree. I really like
yeah,
the experience of it.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes I even forget to do the look at the written part.
yeah, yeah. I glance at it and then go, oh, I should talk about this and that. And then I go, yeah, 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 there's some things over there. Yeah, yeah, this, that, but let's get down to business. I
They-
do that almost every week.
Yeah. Yeah, it almost seems like some of it is channeled in some ways
Yeah,
through
yeah.
you too. So, thank you.
You saw it.
And go ahead, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa, how'd you do?
Was remarkable. And I want to say, my body is like, thank you. Can you give me more of that?
Yeah, no joke, huh? Well, we are going
Like,
to slide over to the Tuesday night prayer petition blessing, and there might be the same exact thing happening in that prayer petition blessing. So
Oh, okay. So the second act is
right, right.
that an encore. Yeah, that's amazing, actually. So I think you were talking in the beginning
Yeah.
about how this one soothes the form.
Yeah, it's
Did you say that?
very like soothing. I don't remember. I probably said something like that. It can be very soothing,
Well,
but the idea being that that there's some sort of insight or inspiration, which kind of like in a way is like it's coming almost from the inside of the form out. You know what I mean? Or at
yep,
least that's
yep.
the way that
Hmm.
is in my mind, where the form goes, I'm tired of doing this. Let's do something different.
Yeah.
Where the light coming in is always like, come on, form, let's do this, let's do that, let's reorganize. And the form is like, I don't know about that. And then at some point, it's like your boss. No, yeah, I don't want to hear it. And then 5 days later, it's like, hey, I got this new idea. It's amazing. It's kind of like that. You kind of
Uh-huh.
come in and it touches, and the form is like, no. And then, days or whatever
Hmm.
go by, and then the form goes, hey, I got this really great idea. Let's do this thing. It's kind of like that, you know?
Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm like, it feels amazing. So thank you. I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, good. Good, good. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed. I just had like a little flashback. So um one of my bosses, whenever I wanted to be heard, because he would just go no and not let me finish the sentence. And I knew he was going to take my idea. So I would go up and I'd go, I really like that idea you had about, and then I would say what it is. Worked every time,
Mm.
because I let him own it. I didn't care. You know,
Yep,
the form's a funny thing. That
it
that
is.
that repetition and that, it's like I was saying, it has a personality or a kind of quality to it. And it's like even how Dennis was saying, I'm tired of doing this dance over and over again. Like after you like get like become more aware of like the tendencies and the personality of the form, it almost becomes a little bit like play. Like, hey,
Yep.
let's play with this. Let's play our way out of this, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. What came to mind is um I don't know if it was what was floating through or the form, but need to be right. So it just gets kind of stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Super.
even if you look at that situation, where you go like, I really like your idea. It's like you can be right, but maybe you don't get the validation, but you're getting to be creative and put it out there. And, whatever you put out comes back to you many times. So even if it doesn't get acknowledged in the moment, it doesn't mean that it doesn't get acknowledged later.
Mm, that's good
Mm.
to know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You got a big old smile on your face. You've had it the whole time.
Oh, have I?
Yeah, you're like just like grinning ear to ear.
I mean, that pattern, definitely now the more you've been talking it out, like with this angel, I'm just like, because I love the pattern was like, oh, that's a strange pattern. But when you explained it like the caduceus, I was like, yeah, anytime we could do caduceus stuff,
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I not doing this
And
stuff?
we've done this pattern before, maybe not so much in the oil classes, but we do it in a star sometime, like we're about to.
Like we're about to.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we're going to slide over to the Tuesday night prayer petition blessing, and thanks for hanging out. So next week is one of my personal favorite angels is the angel Sabriel. And Sabriel, like in the old Kabbalistic writings, they say Sabriel defeats the demons of disease. So we'll play with that next week. Okay, you guys. So tomorrow night we do a deeper practice, an essential practice, and we have the Astara thing. And then on the weekend we're doing the angels of the four elements. So it's a free one. So join us if you can.